Ask anyone over 50 where they used to shop and they'll rattle off names that mean nothing to younger people. Supermarkets that were on every high street where families did their weekly shop for decades, where your mum queued every Saturday morning. These weren't small corner shops struggling to survive. These were major chains with hundreds of stores, millions of customers, and brands that everyone in Britain knew. Then, one day, they were just gone. Stores closed, signs taken down, buildings left empty or converted to something else. We're talking about supermarkets that seemed like permanent fixtures of British life until they suddenly weren't. 8 once popular UK supermarkets that have completely disappeared, and the reasons they went from everywhere to nowhere. These failures cost thousands of jobs, changed British shopping forever, and left gaps in communities that took years to fill. Let's reveal what happened to the supermarkets your parents remember, but you've never seen.
Coming in at number 8, Food Giant. Food Giant operated as discount supermarket chain in 1980s and 90s, with warehouse-style stores offering limited ranges at rock-bottom prices, attempting to bring American-style discount retailing to Britain before Costco and similar concepts became established. The business model involved massive stores selling bulk quantities with minimal service, no-frills environments, and prices that undercut traditional supermarkets by significant margins through ruthless cost control. The rise was rapid, with expansion across Britain during late 80s when recession made discount retailing attractive, with Food Giant stores appearing in out-of-town locations offering something genuinely different from traditional supermarkets. The appeal was purely financial, with customers willing to tolerate basic environments and bulk buying requirements in exchange for substantial savings on grocery spending, particularly attractive to large families and budget-conscious shoppers. The peak came in early 90s, with roughly 50 stores operating across Britain, and the brand becoming a recognized option for serious bargain hunters willing to drive to out-of-town locations. The decline started when traditional supermarkets responded with their own discount ranges and value lines, eliminating much of Food Giant's price advantage whilst offering better shopping environments and more convenient locations. The failure to establish compelling brand identity beyond just being cheap left Food Giant vulnerable when competitors matched their pricing, with customers abandoning the inconvenient warehouse format once price advantage disappeared. The administration in late 90s saw stores closed rapidly, with the Food Giant concept proving unsustainable once traditional supermarkets engaged in price competition and German discounters Aldi and Lidl began UK expansion. Former Food Giant customers described the stores as genuinely cheap but unpleasant to shop in, with the warehouse environment and bulk buying being acceptable only when savings were substantial enough to justify the inconvenience. The lesson from Food Giant is that competing purely on price creates a vulnerable business model, with no customer loyalty when cheaper alternatives emerge, and no differentiation beyond pricing that can easily be matched by better-resourced competitors.
Coming in at number 7, Leo's. Leo's operated as a successful supermarket chain in London and South East from 1950s through 1970s, serving working-class communities with stores that combined grocery with general merchandise before becoming casualty of supermarket consolidation. The business model was traditional variety store, selling groceries alongside clothing, homeware and other products, creating one-stop shopping before out-of-town superstores made this concept mainstream. The appeal was convenience and value, with Leo's offering reasonable prices on everyday items and being located in neighborhoods where they were easily accessible without needing to travel to town centers. The peak came in 1960s, with roughly 80 stores operating across London and surrounding areas, with Leo's being recognized local brand, particularly strong in East End communities. The decline started with inability to compete with emerging supermarket chains that offered better selection and pricing in more modern stores, with Leo's older premises and limited ranges becoming disadvantages. The acquisition by Tesco in 1975 ended independence, with new owners rapidly closing or converting stores as they saw more value in eliminating competition than maintaining the Leo's brand or store network. The disappearance happened within 2 years of acquisition, with Leo's being systematically eliminated from London retail landscape despite having served communities for decades. Former Leo's shoppers described the stores as proper old-fashioned retailers where staff knew customers and shopping felt personal, with the loss representing broader trend of community stores being replaced by impersonal corporate chains. The lesson from Leo's is that local businesses serving specific communities can be valuable, but are vulnerable to acquisition by national chains who see them primarily as competition to eliminate rather than brands to preserve. Coming at number 6, Shoppers Paradise. Shoppers Paradise operated discount department stores with significant grocery sections from 1950s through 1970s, pioneering self-service discount retailing before the format became mainstream in British retail. The business model combined groceries with clothing, homeware and other products in large stores, offering everything at discount prices through minimal service and basic environments. The rise came during 50s and 60s when Shoppers Paradise introduced customers to self-service shopping and discount pricing, concepts that were revolutionary in Britain at the time. The appeal was genuine savings compared to traditional retailers, with Shoppers Paradise offering pricing that undercut high street shops substantially through operational efficiency and volume purchasing. The peak came in late 60s with roughly 40 stores across Britain, and the brand being recognised for discount shopping, particularly popular with working-class customers prioritising value over shopping environment. The decline started when mainstream supermarkets adopted self-service and discount pricing eliminated Shoppers Paradise's differentiation, with the once revolutionary concept becoming standard industry practice. The stores became dated and shabby as investment failed to keep pace with competitors, with Shoppers Paradise increasingly associated with decline rather than value as better alternatives emerged. The closure came in late 70s, with stores being shot or sold to other retailers, eliminating a brand that had been pioneer of discount retailing but couldn't compete once its innovations were copied. Former Shoppers Paradise customers remember the stores as genuinely cheap places to shop, but acknowledge they became unpleasant environments, with the discount model being unsustainable once better-funded competitors offered similar prices in nicer stores. The lesson from Shoppers Paradise is that being first to market with innovation creates only temporary advantage, with pioneers often being overtaken by better-resourced followers who can execute the same concept more effectively.
Coming at number 5, W.M. Morrison Original Regional Format. W.M. Morrison operated successfully as a regional supermarket chain in Yorkshire and North England for decades before near-fatal expansion attempt and subsequent Safeway acquisition fundamentally transformed the business. The business model was focused regional chain serving northern communities, with stores that combined quality fresh food with competitive pricing, creating loyal customer base through genuine local understanding. The rise came through gradual expansion across Yorkshire and Lancashire, with Morrison building reputation for fresh food, particularly meat and produce, with in-store butchers and bakers creating differentiation from purely packaged goods retailers. The appeal was quality and value combined with genuine northern identity, with Morrison feeling like local business despite being substantial chain, and staff understanding regional preferences and tastes. The peak of original format came in late 90s, with roughly 100 stores operating profitably in northern England, with Morrison being a beloved regional brand with customer loyalty unusual in grocery retail. The near-death experience came with disastrous expansion into South England in late 90s, with stores in unfamiliar markets failing badly and nearly bankrupting the company through losses and overextension. The salvation and transformation came through the acquisition of Safeway in 2004, which doubled Morrison's size overnight but also fundamentally changed the business from regional specialist to national chain. The disappearance of original Morrison format happened through integration of Safeway stores, with the focused northern chain being transformed into a national operator that lost much of its regional character and fresh food differentiation. Former Morrison staff from pre-Safeway era described the business as genuinely different and special, with the acquisition bringing necessary scale but destroying the culture and customer focus that had made Morrison successful. The lesson from Morrison is that growth can destroy what made businesses valuable, with regional specialists losing their differentiation when becoming national operators, and the very success that enables expansion often being undermined by that expansion.
Coming in at number 4, Checklands. Checklands operated a successful West Midlands supermarket chain from 1920s through 1980s, serving communities in Birmingham, Wolverhampton and surrounding areas with stores that were genuine local institutions. The business model was traditional supermarket retailing done well, with emphasis on fresh food, competitive pricing for local market and personal service that created loyal customers across generations. The rise came through serving working-class Midlands communities that valued quality at fair prices, with Checklands understanding local preferences and building stores in convenient neighbourhood locations. The appeal was being genuinely local business run by people who understood the communities they served, with staff who were neighbours and management that made decisions based on local needs rather than corporate policies. The peak came in 1960s and 70s, with roughly 60 stores across West Midlands, with Checklands being a household name in Birmingham area and stores being part of community fabric. The decline started with increasing competition from national chains expanding into Midlands, with Checklands unable to match buying power and marketing spend of Tesco, Sainsbury's and other major operators. The acquisition by Budgens in 1985 ended independence, with new owners promising to maintain local character but rapidly closing unprofitable stores and converting the remainder to Budgens format. The disappearance happened within 5 years of acquisition, with Checklands being systematically eliminated from Midlands' retail landscape despite having served communities for over 60 years. Former Checklands customers described the loss as typical
typical of how corporate chains destroyed local businesses, with stores that understood communities being replaced by generic national formats that felt impersonal despite better pricing and ranges. The lesson from Checklands is that local businesses can build genuine loyalty and community value, but this means nothing to acquiring companies focused on national brands and operational efficiency.
Coming in at number 3, Lennons. Lennons operated as a successful Irish supermarket chain with significant presence in Northern Ireland from 1960s through 1980s, serving communities during troubled period with stores that were safe, convenient shopping options. The business model was adapted to Northern Ireland conditions, with stores located carefully to serve both communities and security measures that were necessary during the Troubles whilst maintaining welcoming shopping environment. The rise came through understanding specific challenges of Northern Ireland retail, with Lennons providing reliable shopping option when security concerns made travelling to town centres difficult for many families. The appeal was safety and convenience combined with reasonable pricing and good selection, with Lennons stores being viewed as neutral, safe spaces during a period when sectarian tensions made many public spaces uncomfortable. The peak came in late 70s and early 80s, with roughly 30 stores across Northern Ireland, with Lennons being an established brand particularly valued for making shopping feel normal during abnormal times. The decline started when improving security situation allowed British supermarket chains to expand into Northern Ireland, with Tesco and Sainsbury's entering market with larger stores, better pricing and national marketing that Lennons couldn't match. The acquisition by Wellworths in late 80s ended independence, with new owners attempting to maintain Lennons' brand but lacking resources to compete with major chains establishing presence. The final closure came in early 90s, with remaining stores being shut as Wellworths itself struggled, eliminating a brand that had been an important part of Northern Ireland retail during difficult period. Former Lennons customers remember the stores with genuine affection, describing them as places that helped maintain normality during the Troubles and provided essential service when shopping was complicated by security concerns. The lesson from Lennons is that businesses can succeed by serving specific local needs but become vulnerable when those specific conditions change and broader competition emerges. Coming in at number 2, Circle K UK grocery operations. Circle K operated convenience stores with significant grocery offerings across Britain in 1990 and early 2000s before strategic confusion and ownership changes eliminated the brand from UK market. The business model was convenience retail combining groceries with fuel stations and quick service food, attempting to create one-stop destinations for time-pressed customers. The rise came through aggressive expansion, acquiring independent convenience stores and converting them to Circle K format, with backing from international parent company providing resources for rapid growth. The appeal was convenience and extended hours, with stores open late and located conveniently for quick shopping trips rather than major weekly shops that required travelling to supermarkets. The peak came in late 90s, with hundreds of stores operating across Britain under Circle K brand, with the company appearing to be building significant presence in growing convenience sector. The decline started with inability to differentiate from better established competitors, with Circle K stores not being cheaper than supermarket convenience formats or better located than existing local shops. The strategic confusion about whether to focus on fuel retail or grocery or food service meant Circle K didn't excel at anything, attempting to be everything to everyone, whilst lacking resources to compete effectively in multiple categories. The exit from UK market came in early 2000s, with stores being sold to various buyers or closed, with Circle K brand disappearing from British retail despite international parent companies' continued operations in other countries. Former Circle K staff described the business as never quite knowing what it wanted to be, with constantly changing strategies and formats preventing stores from building loyal customer bases or clear market position. The lesson from Circle K is that convenience retail requires clear proposition and excellent execution, with attempting multiple formats simultaneously, creating confusion that allows focused competitors to win customer loyalty. Coming at number 1, Carrefour. Taking the top spot is Carrefour, the French retail giant that attempted to establish a presence in Britain through hypermarket format stores before failing spectacularly and exiting the market completely. The business model was continental European hypermarket concept, with massive stores selling everything from groceries to clothing to electronics in out-of-town locations, attempting to replicate Carrefour's success elsewhere in Europe. The rise was dramatic, with Carrefour entering Britain in early 1970s, opening huge stores that were unlike anything British customers had experienced, with the first Carrefour in Caerphilly being a revelation in retail scale. The appeal was supposed to be one-stop shopping, with everything under one roof at competitive prices, with the hypermarket format being a logical evolution from supermarkets, just as supermarkets had replaced traditional grocers. The peak was actually the beginning, with Carrefour never really succeeding in Britain, despite opening multiple stores across country and investing heavily in establishing the brand. The decline was immediate, with British customers not embracing hypermarket format the way Carrefour expected, preferring traditional supermarkets or specialist retailers for different categories rather than buying everything in one massive store. The strategic errors included underestimating British customers' preference for specialist retailers, choosing poor locations that were too far from population centres, and failing to understand cultural differences that made hypermarkets successful in France but not Britain. The exit came in 1980s, with Carrefour selling stores to other retailers and abandoning British market entirely, representing one of most high-profile international retail failures in British history. The acquisition of Carrefour stores by retailers including Asda, who converted them to standard supermarket format, showed that the property was valuable, but the hypermarket concept wasn't working in Britain. Former Carrefour employees described the business as never really understanding British market, with French management imposing continental approach that didn't resonate with British shopping habits and preferences. The lesson from Carrefour is that retail formats successful in one country can fail completely in another, with cultural differences in shopping behaviour being more significant than international retailers often recognize.
Common factor number 2. Acquisition usually meant elimination. The brutal pattern across these failures is that acquisition by larger competitor almost always meant elimination of the acquired brand, with buying companies valuing store locations and customer elimination more than brand equity. The acquiring companies typically converted stores to their own brands within 2 years, imposing corporate systems and eliminating the local character that had made businesses successful and valuable to communities. The value of acquisitions was primarily defensive, with national chains buying regional competitors mainly to prevent them being acquired by other national chains and to eliminate competition in specific markets. The lesson is that when your local supermarket gets acquired by a national chain, prepare for it to disappear, regardless of promises about maintaining local identity and character. The rare exceptions like John Lewis maintaining Waitrose brand prove the rule, with most acquisitions destroying acquired brands because consolidation into single national brand is simpler and more profitable than maintaining multiple regional identities.
Common factor number 1, failure to adapt to changing retail formats, with businesses built on one model unable to transform when a different approach became customer preference. The transition from traditional counter-service to self-service supermarkets killed many chains, whilst later the shift from town centre supermarkets to out-of-town superstores eliminated others who couldn't or wouldn't adapt. The businesses that survived made painful transitions, abandoning what had made them successful to adopt new formats, whilst those that failed clung to outdated approaches, hoping customer preferences would revert. The lesson is that retail requires constant reinvention, with willingness to cannibalize existing business models when market fundamentally changes, because half measures and gradual adaptation are insufficient when disruption requires complete transformation. The businesses that disappeared weren't necessarily badly run within their original format, they simply couldn't or wouldn't make the leap to new approaches that customers increasingly preferred.
So there you have it, 8 once popular UK supermarkets that no longer exist, from food giant attempting discount warehouses to Leo's serving London communities, from Shoppers Paradise pioneering self-service to Morrison's losing its regional identity, from Checkland serving the Midlands to Lennons navigating the Troubles, from Circle K's strategic confusion to Carrefour's failed hypermarkets. The common patterns are acquisition leading to elimination regardless of brand value, failure to adapt to changing retail formats, killing businesses built on outdated models, inability to compete with national chains, scale advantages, and loss of differentiation, leaving customers with no compelling reason to remain loyal. These weren't marginal businesses struggling to survive, but established successful retailers serving communities for decades before strategic errors, market changes, or ownership decisions destroyed them. The disappearance of these supermarkets changed British retail landscape permanently, with regional diversity being replaced by national homogeneity and local businesses being eliminated by corporate consolidation. Every chain had loyal customers who mourned their loss, employees who lost careers, and communities that lost local institutions, demonstrating that retail consolidation creates real human costs beyond just business statistics. The survivors succeeded through adapting to changing formats, maintaining clear differentiation, having ownership focused on long-term value, and investing in competitive advantages rather than extracting maximum short
short-term returns. The lesson remains that retail is brutal business, where nothing is permanent, with yesterday's successful format becoming tomorrow's obsolete relic when customer preferences fundamentally change. If you remember shopping at these supermarkets, you've witnessed dramatic transformation of British retail from diverse local businesses to concentrated national chains. And if you're too young to remember, you're learning how quickly familiar businesses can disappear when markets fundamentally shift. Thanks for watching, and remember that in retail, popularity and success guarantee nothing when businesses fail to adapt, get acquired by wrong owners, or lose the differentiation that made them valuable in the first place.